Welcome to season 14 in a nutshell of Bible League Association, widely regarded as one of the best seasons in BLA so far. This will show how competitive this league has gotten throughout the 14 seasons, well, now 16, but 14 seasons it's been a part of, and this will show how fun it can get. Let's go to the season 14 rosters. To say the most and least about the Bruins is very interesting. At the very least, they were just coming off of a team with Henry and Aiden. Henry is leading the Bruins, still is, but they traded for ECK Ethan and then signed Robin too. It was a very interesting trade and kind of had some backlash, but we'll get into that later. Next team is the Bees. The Bees are one of the most hated teams in BLA because of Matthew Madigan. He is he cheated in the past, but he is also still one of the best BLA players of all time. And he found his lifelong teammate, Mitch. So him and Mitch are the duo, and then they brought along Dom and Andrew, who both didn't play much, but still contributed a lot. Next, we have my current team, the Buds. I got traded a season ago to the Buds, and me and Ian just hit it off. Me, Ian, and Frank. So in season 13, we weren't very competitive, still learning how we all play. Ian, for whatever reason, is one of the most hated captains in the league, and Frank, who is the most underrated. We had a decent draft pick to draft Axe, but there are some things that happen mid-season that you're going to want to stick around to find out in later videos. But we are looking to make the playoffs after a tough season 13 of learning how we all play and all that stuff. Next is the Cats, led by Space and Mac, kind of both in the same category. They drafted Creed and Dino in this past draft, and they played a big part of how they played because they focused on defense. One of the best defensive teams in the league, and that's not to be taken account for anything. I think I'm one of the best defensive players, but them three altogether, one of the best defensive teams we have seen ever in BLA. Next, we have the Fouls. After Dark stepping down in season 12 to be the captain, Jay stepped up because he wanted to be the lifetime Foul. And his teammate Sam, one of the most highly wanted prospects we have seen, I think, ever in BLA. And we will have to see how they mesh together and see what will happen. Next is the Pigs. Short and sweet, the Pigs, run by Maddie, got Shane back after he came back, and Kevin too. Kevin had some things mid-season. He kind of quit, but that's besides the point. Both of them, but Maddie is labeled as one of the worst captains in BLA, and Shane coming back to help kind of didn't really help because people didn't think Shane was that good. But that was the Pigs and the Fouls. Next, we have my former team, the Ballers. AJ is the captain since day one of the league. He's been one of the best captains in BLA, I think, and he has another great person joining him in Dark last season. They kind of hit it off, and were very close to making playoffs. If not, they made playoffs. I don't fully remember right now. But they drafted Caden Irwin. Yes, Caden Irwin, the MLW player, to the Ballers. And they also drafted Nick, AJ's brother, who played as their fourth man all season. If they needed him, he was there. Next, we have the Ricks. Ooh. Next, we have the Rex. The Rex are led by Tanner, who is one of the best BLA players in the league. But his Wi-Fi doesn't work half the time, which sucks. And then you have Evan and Beats and then Noah for the beginning of the season. All three of them were really good, all by themselves. All four of them are really good by themselves. But they needed a couple seasons to mesh, and this was their season to mesh together. So they will have, I think, one of the best seasons we have seen in a minute. Welcome our first expansion team in the BLA Sharks. led by Aiden and Dom, other Dom, um, also on the team, but they got one of the steals of the draft, in my opinion, in Kiwi for their team, and I think they're going to be one of the better teams in the league. Finally, we have the Dragons. After they were led by Landon, who got busted for cheating, that deserves its own video, but NDD took over this team and got one of the best players, if not the best player in the draft, in Colin. And they were with Landon dominating. And when I say dominating, I mean dominating BLA. We will have to see if that will continue. So that you know all the teams and most of the rosters, you will have to choose a team to root for all season. Choose your team, comment them below. I'll do all the 5 yards, BS, And let's get to the first week of the season. To start off week 1, we had Bees Butt. This game unfortunately was not recorded, but it was the game of the week. Me, Frank, Ian all had goals to win 3-2. But Frank did have 2 own goals, and knowing Madigan, you know he doesn't play with more than one player. It's just him and Mitch, most likely. And but Mitch and Madigan both had goals in this game. But it made it very competitive, and also this was Axe's first game, and he played pretty dang good. Stats don't show it, but he was playing pretty good. Game 2, Pigs Ballers. This was a 4v3, which doesn't happen often at all in BLA. This is Caden Irwin's first game. And AJ got the scoring going from a goal from mid-circle. Great defense, plays off for the Pigs, and Shane gets the big head goal for their first goal of the season. And as kickoff, and the turn after that big head goal leads to an open shot for Maddie, as Caden Irwin almost, when I say almost, I mean inches away from getting the save, and it is 2-1 Pigs. A Maddie goalie big head works as the ball is hit off the wall and barely hits Nick into going into goal for the Nick own goal. This game the Pigs ended up winning this game 3-1 against the Ballers. Game 3, another game that was not recorded, but seeing Space, Creed, and Dino all play without Mac was a sight to see, because this game was pretty dang close. Or not close. This game was pretty dang good, and all 3 of them scored goals. And Henry knocks in an own goal, but this game was not really that good, honestly. 3-0 Cats, and I'm sure the Bruins and Henry and ECK were looking forward to week 2 after this loss. On to game 4. Game 4, Rex Fouls. A pretty nice game, and Jace was still in the league, and he had a hat trick for the Fouls win. Noah scored the only goal for the Rex, and there's a lot to explain at the end of this week, which I will explain, don't worry. But let's go to the final game. Fouls win 3-1. The final game was Sharks Dragons. New Look Sharks took on a New Look Dragons. The game looked fun, but because I didn't end up watching it, but the game looked fun, and the Dragons did end up winning 3-1. NDD had 2 goals and was 3 for 4 on playing items, while Colin had the other goal, but he went 0 for 1 with items. Aiden scored the only goal for the Sharks. With 3 shots, he only made 1, and that was the only score. Kiwi looked like a rookie out there. The player of the week ended up being Jace with the hat trick, also going 3 for 3 on items. But now it's time to explain the Jace problem. So Jace was supposed to go to, I think it was Long Island, might have been Texas, but it was Long Island. He had ticket and jersey paid for by Dark, and then he ended up not showing up, ghosted everybody. Everybody was wondering where he was at, if he was okay, and he came back, he announced it, and then he would not pay back Dark. cost near $200. Nothing. So later that night, everybody's left the league, right? And then he ends up deleting that league, but thankfully Hecker, which is very surprising because he was banned for cheating, Hecker ended up making a different server for BLA so this can be going on. And you might be wondering, when I said the roster, you might be wondering why Noah was not in it. Noah ended up being on Jace's side, and he got subsequently banned for a little bit, and then he came back, I think, a season or two later, and then he came back and apologized. But that is season 14 rosters in week 1 in a nutshell. I will make all the other weeks, but I hope you guys like this video, and I hope y'all can't wait for this next video of week 2 and probably 3, depending on how fast it goes. This season was one of the best seasons of all time. That's why I'm starting with this. We might go to one of the worst seasons of all time next, but we'll figure it out. I hope everybody has a great day. See y'all next time.